A little after 1, quarter, 18 after. Count the little lines. Anyway, so Sunday. January is almost over. It's February. But I was looking at some Cox brothers and some Rockefellers and I don't know, different people. And the one thing they all have in common, I don't think they really care that what they're doing is so ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Because now, well, I noticed that at least we're starting to clean up some of the problems that we've had generated in the last, during Bush administration, at least the last session. I think that the biggest problem that we do have is that a lot of information is not getting funneled, to make the proper changes. Because one of your main objectives is to keep nature. So, and there's a reason. But I guess it's funny to see people, like you can look at first and the results, of the type of where our politics are taking us, to where it is okay for police to kill someone and then act in such a way that's so disrespectful to our country. And I think they just want to, we killed him and you're upset, so now we're going to punish you. A lot like I see people that whoop their kids. The kid who screams out in pain because it probably hurts them to get struck and hit. If you think about yourself, if you put yourself in that place, and I came up and just started, welling different type of blows on you, it might make you uncomfortable, it might hurt you, and you might holler out. And my response to you hollering out, that your normal response is to beat the fuck out of you so I could get an unnormal response. And I think we're seeing a lot of the results with the type of violence, because with the sex industry, like everybody twerking, it's like imitating sex. They do it all the time. It's like they went through all these learning years and hit adolescence, and the only thing they learn how to do is thrust their body up and down. And as a female, the way the guys go, it's might as well, the woman don't have no walls, you know what I'm saying? Like to hear someone talk about, I can feel my man all day long. I'm thinking, well, maybe you should go, do something about all that tearing and scraping probably went on. If you ever happen to, look at it after some of the actions, you could tell that it's not supposed to, if something, anyway. But hence the more ability to spread different viruses, with the ripping and tearing there. But I do think that it'd be so easy to make reusable energy, to just draw energy. We have electricity in us, otherwise we wouldn't still function. But the thing is that things, well, at least they have to change on some fronts. I don't see where it's benefiting our government to have the children that we're pumping out. And I noticed I was speaking to a guy that, about something about the school, because this girl, she had left the neighborhood and she always stands in front of the store soliciting. So she got her daughter there now, and I guess she didn't want to leave until her daughter finished high school. I don't know if her daughter finished high school over here in Mitchell High or not. Well, her daughter was there, and he could see something wrong with her hanging out with her daughter, but he's, on a humorist, not on, maybe that child, it could be saved. But, you know what I'm saying? But he didn't see anything correlating with the school. He didn't see anything wrong with the school when I mentioned something like, like a lot of intervention, especially at schools, as long as they could be guided, not in direction that obviously they are being guided in. Otherwise you wouldn't have the results that you have in the community. You wouldn't be, like the people that are causing the violence is the one yelling, we gotta stop the violence. It's just merely by your actions and what you are showing that child is the only, what I'm saying? They are, the children's behavior is a mirror of our society. They're a mirror of their parents. The fruit don't fall far from the tree. All these sayings are true. You know what I'm saying? Well, if like, for example, Mitchell High decided to retrain the way they are looking at these young people, at these young children, not so much as, oh, they're bad, or, I mean, the way they treat the, what I'm saying? And I don't blame the children by the time they get to high school, because I went into that Ford school and I made them feel so uncomfortable. They're watching with all the cameras and everything, and they respond to what I thought was perfectly, appropriate behavior for, some boys while they were watching them in the bathroom. They came out, they was cool. I mean, there's just some things in some places to where you could use a little bit of more empathy, so that when there really is a child that is being bullied or something bad's going to happen, you won't be averted with nonsense. You could, you know what I mean? Or you could guide them from that nonsense by activities such as music, drawing, them expressing themselves either in writing or in preparing food. Learning how to build small engines or work on small engines. All these things engages a child's curiosity, and especially during the ages that, especially the younger kids, because the only thing they want is input and information, and obviously if you don't like the results of your children's behavior, maybe it's because they're emulating your behavior. Maybe your actions are not appropriate for the response you want. If you don't want a child that grows up being violent, hitting and shooting, and they go to ice skating ring and they bust out in a big fight, and then they go shoot up the person's house who they beat up, which they're just emulating the police. You beat up someone, that person is wounded, so then, well, now you think you all powerful, they're wounded, they're scared. So that they're just emulating the actions that they're seeing. You know what I'm saying? It's okay for the police in Ferguson to kill someone and then go down the street because these people are trying to mourn and show disrespect by causing more harm and more violence, right? You know, the violent act caused the problem, so of course the solution is more violent act. The same as, but anyway, so I see where the impossibility, but I also see where that if there isn't a change, your main objective on the bottom, what, the number 10th or the bottom line or whatever, you're going to have to keep something from nature, because you come from nature. So that is going to be your biggest downfall. You ain't going to be able to go to Mars. You'll probably be able to get some people to you know, throw some money at it and go to Mars and sit there until they die, or die on the way there, or find out how fucking boring it is, you know, just to be in an empty, to be in up in outer space. What to do? What, you know? These are people right here are materialistic. You know what I'm saying? You spent too many years trying to get these people to go and buy all your products and have faith in all the bullshit. You see how many people drinking Coca-Cola? You know what I'm saying? Do the parents ever think that my artistic child has anything to do with me drinking diet soda? You know what I'm saying? We're not going to correlate it to anything that, you know, that the parent is doing. Let's just blame the child. It couldn't be the diet cola. It couldn't be, you know, too much codeine during your pregnancy. It couldn't be anything that is sort of, you know, like what everybody else is doing. You know what I mean? I remember everybody was giving their kid codeine because people didn't like to hear crying. Now you see all of them talking about these kids still walking around with a bottle of codeine and talking about serpentine or some shit. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, and then, you know what I mean? But and it's so true. It's so true that they don't see, and I didn't believe that. It could be a happy, wonderful world. What a wonderful event, you know what I'm saying? And you still have the same people having all the money, would still have all the money. They just wouldn't have to go to war, and they wouldn't need have to kill 1 billion people. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if all this is like really what you're trying to do, but if you look at the actions, if I, you know, and I'm just looking back like about 200 years, just, you know, history of the war, the famine, of the politics, of a lot of declassified, and a lot of what a lot of the psychiatrists and a lot of stuff that went on up to the war in Europe and about, and you know what I'm saying? And a lot of us wasn't privileged to a lot of the inside meetings that was going on, because like otherwise we would say Churchill sympathized with his cigar, which was a symbol during that time in the gay community. You know, that cigar was an extension of a penis. You would have to conclude then that he was gay, and that he, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? If you go along with a lot of the stuff that you learned and a lot of the symbols that they went through, it's, you know, so, and then if you look at the result of where our children are today with their twerking, I'm just using that as an example, to where they're over-sexualized, and that's all part of it, you know what I mean? Anyway, I see what you're talking about. I see where that there won't be any change without changing our education system. Until our kids go to school year round, and that we get their minds all lit up, you know, with the answers to the questions that they need to strive and be a productive person. And I don't mean just as a consumer. You know what I'm saying? Because China's getting ready to do something, and I ain't mad at China. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna be mad at a lot of motherfuckers, because I don't have a bone or a dog in this fight. I's poor, I's black. I don't got two nickels to rub together. You know. And still people think I got too much. I know one day, I literally, if somebody else like came up here and was depending on getting fat or something for eating from me, I'll tell you something, they probably would starve to death. Because I got very used to keeping a little nourishment in me. So, you know what I mean? So I guess I'm stuck with being by myself, and I am so grateful. And you know, I just want to send my blessing out to the people that help me feed the dogs over here. That's so kind, and you know, the dogs like it too. But I mean, there's just two dogs that stay in my yard. Excuse me, Ariel and Polly. Don't worry, I'm not getting choked up. It's supposed to be a little drip. Then when you go around people a little bit, you get a little, I don't know. There's probably is something going around. I don't know. The last time I was around a few too many people, I ended up with something like a case of chronic boogers. Anyway, probably something going around. I'm sure. But anyway, I think that if they just invested in taking music, home economics, art, and all that out of the schools. They invested in feeding these children a certain diet. That, you know, and when it comes to diabetes, it is about the diet. It is about, from an early age, you know, are you moving around? You know, if you have a small child and you see something on the back of the neck that looks like it's dirty, it's probably diabetes. I remember people like getting mad at their kids, you know, because the thing behind their necks. And there are, before they hit puberty, for some diabetics, if they don't eat red meat, if the child, you know, if you curtail their diet before the onset of diabetes. And a lot of it is red meat at a young age, because of the protein in the red meat. It's harder for the child to break it down. So why it's getting broken down in your organ, kidneys, etc. Anyway, it's been a long time since I read that. That, you know, it's working on that very hard. So other stuff like sugar, you know, and then if you're eating stuff that has high sugar in it, like your milk, like your cold cereal, usually has a lot of sugar in it, and there's a lot of products with a lot of so what happens is like it's easier for it to do the sugar, so the protein will sit there for a while, and it'll come out in the urine at first before you start seeing sugar. Anyway, so but it is about the diet. I'm getting a little bit. Let me see. I read about it in here. Like when you're alone, you read silly stuff. But it has all about, you know, like, it doesn't really go into the diet, but it goes into the I don't have my glasses. Anyway, you know, so our children's diet is very, it's you know what I mean. I think we all know that our diet is the cause of diabetes. And if I had my glasses on, I'd be able to see the small print. Anyway, it's for the family. See? Family. So it's not like, you know, like, well, I mean, if you read the whole thing, you might be like, no, a little bit. But it's heavy, and there's a lot. It's old book anyway. I have some better somewhere. But anyway, so I do understand that. Well, I guess we're here. I guess we're here, and I guess there's got to be another. You know, well, the war has never ended, so it's gonna be something that's gonna happen. Some places gonna get bombed, so like they could get like people to, you know, like, because like we don't have a draft, so. Which is like, if we had got rid of the draft, I wish we had made every like young child go like 2 years to, like, you know, like to Job Corps or something for 2 years, you know, 2 years to work in building like roads or something, and as why, and then in those 2 years why they get education, not just 2 years opposed to, you know. Yeah, give them 2 years of free college, make them have 2 years, like, whatever field they want to, you know, go into, that, you know, there's always a place, in the Army, Navy, Marines, or somewhere for, you know, all that. So, I don't know, for learning, but, you know what I'm saying, and then now we have our police that are all militarized, so, you know, and we have, you know, and you know, like Memphis makes a lot of money off of housing and jailing people, and they make a lot of money on the pharmaceuticals. Make a lot of money here, not only on psych medicine, which you know, if they tell you straight out they don't know everything about your brain, I think that's true. That a lot of the brain's still a mystery. And, you know, and that in what you do take during your pregnancy could, you know, and does, because everybody knows, like, if you smoke cigarettes, you know, or you drink alcohol, how bad alcohol could be, causing Down syndrome. So if you are taking certain drugs, you know, during your pregnancy, especially if you're younger, your first pregnancy, you know, I don't care if it's a prescription drug, you know what I'm saying, you better think about it twice, you know. I mean, not if it's something that's going to save your life, or something, you know, like if it's like if you're taking, like, but I'm just saying, if you're taking like psych medicine, like Quaaludes or something like that, or Seroquel, you got to think that you don't know how that's going to, Seroquel that your body naturally makes in your brain, and the child's body naturally makes. If you introduce something like Seroquel, then your body doesn't have to make it. Then you have to worry about, if it's not making it, is it and this child is getting programmed not to make it, but just accept it, you know, basically getting his feeding tube, right? Umbilical cord. Anyway, and you know what I'm saying? How long it's, so these are the dangers of introducing, but anyway, it's just something to think about, and I guess you're right. Things aren't going to change. For you. Doesn't really matter. Who cares, right? You know, but I mean, these people are just miserable. They're just suffering. And in a sense, it's just too sad, because these children didn't stand a chance. You know, and what do they have to look forward to? I mean, after teenager years, the height of their whole teenager years is they could fuck. What are we gonna do with them? I make money. I like to fuck. That's it. I don't know what's going to happen to the interior of this United States, but I guess the next big thing we have, either that war, I guess we'll be bringing some more people. But they're not, I don't know where you're going to get them from. There's just so many people that we could get from Britain. Keep your people. You might need them. I don't know. Although we have a lot of places. We could get Australians, Swedes. There's so many, it's going to come a time that, what I'm saying, if they might, what I'm saying, I don't know. I guess if you have money, you could still make sure that your child gets a healthy education. If you're really staying on it, and it's not a matter, I'm participating in my child's thing, like I go to all their football games or whatever, which is excellent. But it's also, what I'm saying, like I see parents over here, they let their kids walk to the bus stop. They haven't even left their house yet, or whatever. There's sometimes you could just take an extra, 5 or 10 minutes out in the morning for your kid, maybe 5 or 10 minutes out, and do something to make them, like, not so much for your comfort, not so much for their comfort, but for their safety. I mean, it's not ideal for everybody, even with the way that, our child care and stuff like that. They wanted to do like a state-run child care thing, but they can't because, we're not really treating our kids healthy. We're not doing the best for them. And therefore, you're not doing the best for yourself. And if you had a sad childhood, or you're not happy now, and you're depressed now, maybe what will make you happy is to do something that will make a brighter future for tomorrow. And you don't have to do it directly. But if you're down and all that, and you're all gloomy, maybe do something nice. Not for yourself necessarily. And not necessarily you got to be in that person's face. Sometimes the nicest things you could do is for somebody, like say someone was in a fatal car wreck. Maybe in that fatal, like you don't got money, you can't really help with the medical bill, but maybe in that fatal car wreck, they had a favorite pair of Nikes or something. You know what I'm saying? And they come back out of the hospital, and maybe you chipped in with a couple of friends or whatever, or you got them some Nikes. Your favorite pair of Nikes. Little shit like that, or something. Even if you do it like with 2 or 3 people in your little circle, just like a $200 or something, to somebody had lost or something, to a tragedy, or like their house was on fire, or something like that. And I'm not saying nothing grandiose or anything, but you know what I'm saying? Sometimes, like if they had a fire, just a warm meal, or something to hold them over till Red Cross gets there. But anyway, I hope that we can start with baby steps, and I love the idea of Obama with the 2-year college. I think thank you, that's wonderful. But we got to do something about, I wish we could give parenting classes to some of these parents in Memphis, because it's sad. It is very sad. And like just over here in Walker Homes, like where like they have Fuller State Park, you have a electric coal plant that they put in there. You got the sewer plant they put in there. You know what I'm saying? They done filled it up to where I guess they just want to prove that we don't have to have a forest. And you're wrong. You're supposed to keep a little. That ain't keeping no nature. It wasn't even at an advantage to do it on like they did it on the scale that they do. That was so uncalled for, and then throw a swimming pool in and cut out some more trees. Yeah, they go along with it, and I get it. We bought into the propaganda, and even I have. Believe it. So what? It's not benefiting me. So what do I care? I'm the last motherfucker to give a fucking care. The last. So anyway, I hear you, I heard you, and it don't really matter, does it? Because nobody's listening. But if we could get reusable, I mean, I know there's a way, but I have to admit, I don't think I give a fuck enough to really go there, because the propaganda is too strong. So I have to admit, I don't give a fuck. Let y'all kill yourselves. What am I supposed to do? I'm poor.